aka Patters. I thought I would walk in from this side of the frame. Alright, I know one of you left a comment in a previous video. The backlight and the front light here, the forefront light, well, it's creating maybe a optic that's not pleasing to the eyeballs. I apologize for that. I apologize to speaking to you in one half darkness. But, I mean, come on. We like that view. We like the sun. I'm in the middle of changing. Just got a work phone call. I've been debating on this video because I just feel like there's so many pieces of S out there on social media trying to get some bonus points of, reposting things about this man, Jason Pearson, okay? I've been with this guy. I remember when this came out. I remember when Executioner premiered for the X-Men. This is maybe potentially X-Men franchise-wise, arc-wise. This is almost like the beginning of the end where all of the hype, all the mystique, all the mysticism of the Jim Lee, Chris Claremont era started to crumble. Now this leads into the Joe Mad era, which truly ends the X-Men era. X-Men never really got back on top, never really recovered, never really got that cool factor. We talk about cool factor here a lot. But we have Jason Pearson. He passed away in December. I'm not really sure how. I really don't care. It's sad that he's no longer making comics. It's sad that he's no longer producing. With that said, we have to kind of call out a little bit of this comic book community, this comic book sphere, this comic book news feed, okay? No one knew that he died until literally a day ago. Now, all of a sudden, everyone's posting about, oh, R.I.P., you're going to be missed, brother. We were friends, brother. Now, if you see a creator that said, we talked at conventions, we were convention buddies, get the hell out of here. What the hell is that, okay? I mean, technically, I sat next to people during conventions back during my independent comic book run. I don't even bring that crap up because, you know why? It's meaningless. It means nothing. It means a donut. But, along the way, this individual, this guy, I mean, we kind of just, even on that first page, we just have posterized a memeable Wolverine, a Wolverine that we can copy. People can copy this. That's how good this guy, like right out of the bat. But along the way, Jason, mental illness. Someone had a history of displaying that on social media, mostly Twitter. And the comic book world did nothing but attack him for it, to come after him for it. Not even being adults and saying, you know what, you could be crazy, we don't know. But you still have conflicting opinions than ours, and that's okay. No one stood up for him. No one said that to him. No one said that on his behalf. No one came to his rescue. And what we owe this guy is everything, okay? Because he came in at a time where artists were rich in the industry. It was still an artist-driven industry, and he knocked people's socks off. There's a Vanguard issue 3. Everyone's reposting body bags. His work, we highlighted some of his work on our trading card sets for Wildstorm Wednesday. Whatever he touched, whatever he contributed to, it stood out, okay? Dynamic style, cartoony style, heavy blacks, blocky feathering, these signatures of his, carried on throughout his entire career. Had a great eye for design, had a great eye for the graphic design elements that go into not only a page, but a panel. There's nothing that this guy could not have drawn, okay? Whatever he drew, it was better than what you could do. And that even goes down to his prose, to the other professionals he was competing with. He was a weapon, okay? And I just want to kind of go through this with you because as a little dude, as a kid, this was my introduction to him And from there, I was able to follow his career, and it sucks. I mean, again, calling out look, some of these comic book sites. If you're so invested in the industry, if you love the industry so much, if the industry is really what you prop up and you need to be strong, how come no one knew about this? How come no one knew about this the day it happened? That, my friends, that is the break, okay? The Matrix has broken with that, okay? We're ejecting out of those pods into the real world, and the real world is SHIT. People, let's have a look. Alright, AKAPADers, let's just get into this. This is a 64-page annual, Uncanny X-Men, Annual 17, 1993. We're celebrating the 30th year of the X-Men. Keep in mind, it took the X-Men roughly 30 years, right? Roughly 30 years to get into the lexicon, to get into the culture, to get on Saturday morning cartoons. And from this point on, the only thing people wanted from the X-Men, it was live action. They wanted live action, and X-Men was supposed to bring us the next biggest art talent forever. It was never supposed to change. We saw this with Cockrum, we saw this with John Byrne, we saw this with Jim Lee, we saw this with Paul Smith, John Romita Jr., and then we have Jason Pearson. Look at this image. This image alone should make you wild. Look, the hair on the arms. I love just how he's discombobulated, and the wrist is just being like almost like flown because he's in his berserker rage. Also, big shout out to the Super Mario Brothers movie. Look, one of the best parts of these older comics, or these 90s comics, I don't want to say older, is the ads. I absolutely love the ads. I always like the airbrushing and the effects for this. So here it is. I remember this issue came polybag. It was a part of a first appearance promotion. So for years, Marvel Comics had themes to their annuals, and some of them were gimmicky themes, some of them were storyline themes. But this was every single annual was going to have a new character, and you were going to get a new trading card of that character. The Executioner premieres here, and just to give you a little bit of a highlight on who this guy is. He's hunting down bad mutants. He's killing them no matter what. As you can see, we have one of them burning here. Now, look, this is also written by Scott Lobdell. Fantastic captions here. Anyone that tells you that Scott Lobdell didn't contribute a lot to the X-Men, I'm sorry. He carried that franchise. He did some great work. Even here, he sets up some really cool things. But the Executioner relatively has like pieces of tech left over, and he's almost just like this like Dark Knight driven good guy, very Azrael-y, but he has just like technology to fight anything. Okay, he's thought it all out, and we have a design that I can only believe Jason Pearson came up with. When I say Jason Pearson has graphic design elements, look at the blacks. Okay, the blacks kind of follow the captions. Look at some of the smoke and the way it's swirling down some of the streams. It's there, okay? And for this to be an early work, to be this complete, it's shocking. So we set this guy up. He's a demon. He's a savior. People are shocked by him, but people like him, that sort of thing. He is a Avenger. Now we jump to Jean Grey. Okay, we jump to Jean Grey, Nathan, okay? This is Cable. This is young Cable. They're in the shopping mall. Cable's obsessed with Iceman. And Nimrod, and the Nimrods, remember, Nimrods are Sentinels. There are upgrades. We get some amazing action here. Look at the silhouette with Jean Grey saving Nathan Summers with the ground. He's perfectly splitting a American style and an anime style before we had Joe Madura. And then boom, Shard and Bishop, and it's like, what's Shard doing there? They show up, they save the day. Look at this Cable shot, shooting right into the chest of Nimrod. Fantastic silhouette. So this is a little bit what I mean by complete pages, where this is mind-blowing, because it's like medium close. He pulls the camera away, but we're telling the story and we have plenty of space. We're not wasting a lot of space. And we have the reveal of the X-Men. We have Iceman here, maybe one of the best drawn Icemen ever. But we got the the classic the Jim Lee Executioner song. Now classic Havoc pose. We have his version of Wolverine. Part of a X-Men artist is how do you we want to know how you draw two characters, Colossus and Wolverine. That's the fact. But yeah, we get Wolverine here. We get Iceman. Now, speaking of the ads, see what the 90s were all go no quit. This is a Sega Genesis game. Look at the cover for the game. Look at the ad. Okay, we're experimenting. We're trying to find what works. And we're giving artists platforms and shots to shine. I believe this is Scott Hampton. I may be wrong. But his use of silhouettes, it's amazing. It's almost immaculate. It feels natural. Great anchor here with the mouth of Mastermind. So now we get into Mastermind. Great transition here, by the way. Okay? No close-up of the mouth. So Mastermind is unconscious in his bed. This is a part of another storyline that's been happening. This is what I mean. Scott Lobdell layers it so well. I love the Sin City black and white tile here. The way how the gutters are cutting in and then it's positive, negative. But he's basically in the mind of the X-Men. The other X-Men, Colossus, Archangel, and Storm, they're collecting data. They're studying Mastermind, trying to find a solution, while Mastermind has these three X-Men trapped in his mind. So now we go back into Mastermind's mind and we get a little bit more detailed into everything that's happening. He's actually in love with Jean Grey, and he's trying to put himself in the shoes of some of her loved ones, and he's in her mind, and he knows about Cyclops. But in a way, he's Cyclops in this scene. When he fell in love with her, the Phoenix was in control. It wasn't Jean Grey. He doesn't know that. But we have a great shot of the Phoenix jumping up here. And we have her clone. We have a young Cable. But we're just throwing things against the wall here when it comes to storytelling. His effects are fantastic. When she shoots the two of them against the wall here, Cable and Rachel Summers, and the wall is just so, this is so Akira, fantastic, another fantastic silhouette here, and then boom, we end with another good anchor, and then effects, explosions. Now look, given he's drawing about 50 pages here, I would imagine he's had a month he's doing 2 pages a day. And this is just, look, it's a filler page. You have to draw, you have to move on. But then we get to the Executioner breaking in to where the X-Men are, and we have a little bit of additional exposition. Executioner seems to know he's being monitored. Fantastic shot of Colossus here. And he's got a little bit of the John Romita Jr. kind of gauntlets and shoulder pads. John Romita had a way of drawing Colossus, but look at Archangel's just flying here. But yeah, so now we're inside the mind of Mastermind again. We're getting a little bit more exposition. Look at this silhouette, this cliff here. Okay, and it's kind of, look, we're doing a couple things. He's talking to himself and thinking to himself. It's just exposition of where the character is at the time. Okay, and then we have a confrontation with Archangel. Great shot here, Colossus, and he kind of, he grabs Archangel by the face, and there's a electricity current that neutralizes Archangel, and so we're getting multiple fight scenes. Look, we're getting this in the mind fight scene of the X-Men. Bishop going toe to toe with Wolverine's nice. And then, look, we got Jean Grey just ripping apart Polaris, and there's our shot of Wolverine just jumping like a animal. Great halo effect here for Jean Grey's hair. Now, keep in mind, a lot of what he's drawing, even on this page, very economical. This is an easy day's worth of work, so to speak. But yeah, so and then Jean Grey just blows off Wolverine's head. Okay, and then we go back to the real world fight, which is Colossus and Archangel. Very cool shot of Executioner throwing Colossus through this tree here. Amazing close-up shot. He's so good with his anchors. On the previous page, though, gotta note this: Bishop is saying, look, we're in his mind. It seems like he's breaking down. Seems like he's dying now. Mastermind is having cardiac arrest. And now it comes to the idea of like what happens when we're in his mind when he dies. And so and Jean Grey's like, our bodies will live, but our minds will die. We'll die here. And then we get Storm showing up. Storm is neutralized by this invisible force field, but she's like doing her Storm talk. And then boom, we have the death of Mastermind dies. And just before he dies, the X-Men are taken back out into their minds, saved. And along the way, during this death speech, we find that Mastermind regrets everything. And he's absolutely in love with Jean Grey. And he wishes he could have another chance. He wishes things could be different. Very sympathetic. This is what I mean. Scott Lobdell, top-notch writing. Absolutely top-notch. We have a little bit more of a conversation with Storm and Executioner. Like I said, the force field. He even did this in Penthouse Comics. The way how he draws the lower leg, and he draws them as if they're just like thrown, you know, and they have such movement, and just like his line selection. It's again amazing. And then boom, Jean Grey is fighting. She's getting pulled into his mind. She shatters herself out. You know, this is typical X-Men psychic world or telepathic world jargon here. Okay, these are the visuals that the X-Men have been using this entire time. We see someone of this coming up too in the Shadow War. But then he dies, and we have this great caption here. You didn't tell him you and Phoenix are two separate people. No Bobby, he lost his life. I saw no reason to take his dream. Isn't that amazing? And look, they're at the Moria Institute, right? So they're on Mir Island. But then we end this with a segue into X-Men 303, where Colossus is beaten up and injured from his strike from Executioner. Executioner did something to him. Executioner also just teleported, just like Deadpool. He disappeared. Maybe we'll see him again, maybe not. Again, great introduction to Executioner. He's in, he's out. But we have something to resolve. We have to go to X-Men 301. So this is a little bit of a criticism for, like, just real quick, the publishing of the time. Look at his expressions, though. Jesus Christ. He's beyond good. Awesome selection, too, with the silhouette tree here. We get that they're outside, the broken tree. So the broken tree, too, right? That's a nod from a couple pages ago. We just go back here. So, look, we go here. We flip all these pages. And, again, boom, storytelling. But this is where, this is a little bit of a break in comics where we're asking too much of the readers. We're connecting too much. We're asking them to spend too much money. We're asking them to buy too many things. It's disappointing. It really is disappointing that this isn't a self-contained story. Annuals should have self-contained stories. This one too also kind of goes on for a little bit too long. I think that's editorial. That's not Scott Lobdell. But also big shout out to our backup, Tom Grummett. He really came into prominence with the Superboy Superman Returns miniseries back when Superboy was absolutely cool with that leather jacket. Now he's just a joke. But we got a decent Tom Grummett backup story here. Also, in all, this annual, it's like a 50-cent book. It is so well made, so well constructed. It's one of the better X-Men annuals, even though it's one giant bulky story. We do get two stories. We get two good setups. We get two good artists. The colorings of the time, the coloring is what it is. But this is what blew me away. Like, look at that. When you see this for the first time and you see guys that are like senior vets in a way, like Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, Todd McFarlane, and you see new guys come onto the scene and you see them this good this early, this might be one of the best introductions of any artist of the time. There's few people I would compare this to that's this good. And that's my experience with Jason Pearson, and I will forever, just be grateful that I was there to buy this and just pick it up, take it out of the poly bag and just get my little mind blown. I mean, look at I love the chunkiness of Nimrod. All right, people, rock and roll. Let's go. All right, guys. Welcome back. Just wanted to say thank you so much. This kind of sentimental. This did mean something to me because it brought me back to a time. It brought me back to a time where comics were just unknown and they were interesting and getting obsessed with how they were made and who was making them and seeing the rise of careers. This dude deserves so much more. He doesn't deserve you trying to get clicks and likes and comments based on a small interaction with him or shaking his hand. I get it. It's shocking, but we're all better than that. If you're going to talk about Jason, do something like this. Bring something to light to where his work touched you. I don't want to read anything. I just want to watch it. Make a effing video. Don't be lazy. Okay? Rock and roll, aka Patter. Subscribe, support, leave a comment.